Right off the bat, let's just get into this Kanye West interview that was that he had on Drink Champs. Like, I have to say that the interview that he had on Drink Champs, it was it's a Kanye interview. It's a Kanye interview at the end of the day. It's like usually a Kanye interview will go just like this. It'll be like a thing where like he'll say a whole bunch of good stuff, right? Then he'll mix it in with a whole bunch of stuff that's just like I don't want to hear that. Like you're saying a whole lot, but it's like I don't want to hear this from you. Like I don't want to hear a billionaire tell me about politics. You know, I don't. I just don't want to hear a rich person tell me about politics because you're doing better than me. You're doing first of all, you're doing better than me. You're doing better than a good percentage of people who are not in the same tax bracket as you. So yeah, you. I'm sorry, but hearing a billionaire, a millionaire, a billionaire person say something about politics is just weird to me because they're doing better in life and they're doing better as far as taxes go. They're not getting taxed as much as the middle class person who's working a job at, you know, McDonald's or working a job in corporate as like a, you know, as a project manager or somebody who works from home and is a programmer. Like, come on, bro. Like, I don't want to hear this from you. You're not really in the same world as us. You're in a different world. You wake up differently than the rest of the rest of the world. You're in the 1%. Like, come on, bro. So I just don't want to hear him tell me about politics. And then, you know, try to like make this a whole pro Republican thing. Like, bro, you said that George Bush didn't like black people, and guess what George Bush was when you said all that? He was Republican. And it's funny because now you're on the side of being a Republican. But, you know, politics aside, it was a good interview. You know, some of it was a little, you know what I'm saying, outlandish, a little entertaining, a little funny and everything like that. But I mean, you know, hey, it's Kanye. That's or Ye. Now that's what he's calling himself. He's calling himself Ye. I forgot that's what he's calling himself. But I mean, you know, that's what it is. That's what it is. You know, it and the funny thing is about that whole entire freaking interview is that I literally thought that like I could have sworn I heard that Drink Champs were supposed to be getting an interview from Drake. I guess now that's out the window now that he went in Nori and what's his name? I forgot the guy's name. They went and interviewed Kanye West. So it's so crazy how this like turns around. It's so crazy how it turns around. But I mean, hey, you know, that's the entertainment industry for you. Um I'm sorry, y'all. Bear with me for a second here. Um but like I said, he talked about a lot of stuff in that interview. I mean, a lot of stuff, you know, this might sound like crazy, but I feel like every time he talks about God, every time he talks about like Christianity and everything like that, I'm not trying to judge him or anything like that, but I feel like, and this is just my thought process, I feel like Kanye literally went and became Christian just to get black people back on his side. Am I the only one who feels like that? I really feel like that. I feel like he like took a situation of like like religion or a lifestyle, because you know it doesn't have to be that, it could just be a lifestyle, like the lifestyle of being a Christian, and he is taking that and saying, hey, I'm Christian, you know, like me again, black people like me again, because y'all remember, if you forget, he said that slavery was a choice back in like, what was that, 2019, 2018, you know, without giving like a real context to why he said that. Because I mean, most of everything that Kanye West says has no context. It's like you you like to be in support of uh, Donald Trump, and I get that. I get why that is because y'all think the same way. You know, y'all are both Geminis. You know, he's rich like you're rich, so it's like, hey, why not? Another thing I didn't like, and this is something I just don't like. Every time we bring up Kanye West, why does Kanye West like being compared to like white, powerful, like white genius people? Doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why do you want to? Why do you want to be like? Why do you want to be like? Why do you want to be like? Why do you want your name to be next to Steve? Why do you want to be like Steve Jobs? Why do you want to be like Walt Disney? Why can't you? Why can't it just be you on your own? Why can't you have your own lane? Why do you have to be those people? Those people had ideas that worked for them when they were alive during a time period, which I'm pretty sure when some of these powerful genius white people were alive, they had a lot of privilege versus you who is making waves and have done what you've done a la now with the amount of privilege and context that you have right now because you're privileged to be a millionaire, a billionaire. You know, you're privileged to have this money and be able to do things and create different avenues and structures and ways for other people to become something, something else, I thought it was funny in the second part of his interview, which is a very long interview. It's a very, 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 very long interview. He said that he apologized to the backpack community for basically finessing them into thinking that he was one of them. And he's like, basically he said that like I really actually like gangster rap music, is what he said. And I'm like, what the hell? So basically, he finessed people into thinking like he was into like lyrical hip hop and lyrical hip hop beats and stuff like that when he doesn't even like that in the first place. Isn't that crazy? The whole faking it till you make it aspect of everything is just like, wow. You just like exposed yourself in front of everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, and I can't understand like he continues to talk about Talib Kweli and how basically he just does he's like, I never rocked with him. I didn't like him. I didn't like his raps. So crazy. Like, it's so crazy how Hollywood is, man. How the entertainment industry is, how everything. It's just like things are fake. All that just tells me is that like things are fake. Like fake, bro. Like nothing is real. Nothing is real. When somebody sits up there and says that, like, basically, I didn't care for being, put into a community of like being a backpack rapper. That was never my MO. But he never stopped it. It's just like when Dave Chappelle says that, like, bro, I was never really like, I never grew up in the hood. I grew up in a nice area in a 2-parent household. But he's like, everybody was saying that I was from the hood, and I'm not about to stop him. If that's the perception they have of me, that's the perception they have of me. To be honest with you, like I said, he said a whole bunch of good things, but it's like him saying a whole bunch of good things. Like I said, he really talked about politics a lot. He really talked about politics a lot. Like you hear a mention of like Republican and Democrat every other word on this interview. I'm all for somebody like having like a certain complex about them, but it just like, I don't know. It's like what you have in this interview is You have knowledge. You have slandering because he slandered a lot of people. He slandered Just Blaze and said that Just Blaze copied him. He slandered Big Sean and said Big Sean is the worst decision I've ever made. And Big Sean is the worst. Basically, he said that like Big Sean was the worst decision he ever made to like sign to his record company. What else? Who else did he like slander? Who else did he slander? I think those are the only people he slandered. I think those are the only three people that I can remember. Oh yeah, of course he talked about the Democrats and slandered them, slandered Joe Biden. You know, like I said, man, this interview has its high points, and then like the low points are like the like a high point would be like Larry Hoover Jr. being able to come on the episode and basically talk about his father's situation and how they're trying to work to um, get his father freed, because his father is like serving like 5 consecutive life sentences or something like that, which is crazy to even think about. Um, his whole thing with Drake and how, honest to God, I feel like there's really no real like beef there. It's just ego based, you know. At the end of the day, Drake and Kanye, they're both making money. They're both they're both millionaires. You know, Kanye is a billionaire. Drake is regarded as one of the greats. Kanye is regarded as one of the greats. Um, you know, they both have companies. They both have record companies. They both have clothing lines. You know, they both do a lot. So it's like to even see like two people of this magnitude who are both black arguing with each other is just, I don't know, reprehensible in my opinion, you know. Yeah, I mean, it's just an ego thing, and then like to see him like basically trying to bury the hatchet with like Jay Prince right next to him and him basically explaining that. Um, I don't know that Drake will ever actually bury the hatchet with Kanye West, you know? It's just the type of thing where like two people end up not liking each other and it just stays that way. You know, y'all can coexist in the same parties and such. Y'all can coexist in the same spaces, but it's like I still don't respect you. I feel like that's the thing with Drake and Kanye. Drake is like, bro, we can coexist, but like I'm not about to stand on stage with you. I don't think there's gonna be a thing where where Drake and Kanye perform together, because he's like he's already I feel like Drake has already figured it out about him, you know. But yeah, I believe that's a thing. He still ends up giving Drake his flowers and saying like, bro, don't get it twisted. Just because we're you know having small disagreements and throwing shots at each other back and forth, it's like I still respect this man. I still think this man is one of the greatest, one of the best musicians I've heard in a long time. Um, but yeah, man, like Kanye's whole Kanye's whole thing is like it's just all over the place. If I'm being completely honest with you, it's just all over the place. It's everywhere, you know. I feel like he doesn't really understand. It's things he understands, and it's things that like in this interview he explained about that I don't really think he fully understands. Like for instance, him talking about like mental health and people saying that he's crazy. Yeah, people are calling you crazy because like the way you think. I mean, like like I said, I don't agree with everything he says or the way he thinks, but like some of the stuff he says is like things that need to be done in the community, and I just want to know like I would just like to hope that like he's one of those people who has money who's actually doing what he's talking about, and not just like talking, you know? That's what I would like to like think as far as like him being a billionaire, millionaire, whatever is like hopefully you talking about like basically creating like a community and getting people to like live off the grid and get out of their comfort zones that they've been, for a long time systematically constructed to live by. I would hope that like you're trying to actually commit to this and not just like talking for the fact of like viral clips and things of that nature. That's what I would be hoping for. I would be hoping it's not that type of thing where it's just like you're just talking to talk. I would just hope for that aspect. It's not just that. Um, but changing gears here, we're going to be talking about this whole Travis Scott thing here.